Just check this is live. I believe so. There we go. Yes, Trojan, hope you're well. Nice to see you this morning. Morning, Fabio. Hope we're good. Let's load up. Oh, my bad. Load up the links. Share this out. We are live. We are live. Yeah, nice to see you in here, Trojan. We do these every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. London session for a few hours. See what's happening. See if we can get any trades within this time. I'll go over what I'm looking at for the day. Any trades that I capture within the London session, which is my main trading zone. We've just had news at half nine, sorry. So we're just waiting to see how price reacts to that. It's pound news, so you can see the pound is moving rapidly right now. Not something that I would trade off of. Something that I want to wait to see what happens from this news. Give us a direction. My direction for the day is bullish. What I'm looking at overall is where we had this channel break beneath. I'm looking for that to pull back a little bit, fill in some of these gaps that got left behind from last week, and then sell off to the downside once again. So that's my overall move that I'm looking at, considering the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frames. If we trade in the London session then, we'd be expecting a move higher like this, taking out these session highs before we expect to drop lower. So even though overall I want to see this come down somewhat on the pound, right now, today, we do expect a move higher. I see what the outcome of that news is for the pound. Give that a refresh. So it's flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI news. It looks like the manufacturing was below forecast, but the services was above forecast. What does that mean? Let me just check that that's right. Yeah, that's right. So manufacturing was below forecast, which is bad for the pound. And then services was above forecast, which is good for the pound. It's not really, like, I'll be honest with you, the PMI news isn't really anything major. The major news is NFP and your CPIs. NFP is basically a measure, so non-farm payroll is basically a measure of how many people are employed within the country. Okay, so obviously the higher the percentage of people that are working and have jobs, the better an economy is, the more stable the country is, and the less money that the government is paying out on benefits or just money taken out of the government's pot, essentially. So you want to see that most people are working and that more and more people are working and there's opportunity for people and there's plenty of jobs for people. That's a sign of a good economy, a strong economy. A bad economy is when everyone or a lot of people is sat claiming benefits, not contributing to society, and ultimately taking money out of the pot from the government. You know, that government pot, when it's there, can be invested on growing the country and growing the economy, but when it's being spent just supporting its people, it's not a sign of economic growth as much as when everyone is working and there's plenty of opportunities. So that's NFP. That is on the first Friday of every month, and that is your highest risk day of the month. I just don't trade it at all. essentially when that news is released, because that tells you a lot about the currency strengths. The most important one is obviously the US dollar non-farm payroll. However, the dollar is affected pretty much affects every single other currency, because all currencies as a baseline are measured against the dollar. Whenever you hear people say that the pound is going up in value or the pound is going down in value, we're obviously referring to the pound measured against the dollar, which is what pound US dollar is. So whenever you hear people, back when we had Liz Truss in power, and you hear people say the pound is hit all-time lows, it's the pound against the dollar, because obviously all-time low compared to what? So yeah, whenever anything happens to the dollar, that was the pound's all-time low. Fun fact, the only ever time it hit that low was when Margaret Thatcher was in power. So this one is Margaret Thatcher and this one is Liz Truss. Women, eh? Can't live with them, can't live without them. But yeah, when everything happens to the dollar, it happens to everything else basically. So NFP for the dollar is the considerably worst news day of the month, first Friday. And then we've got CPIs, which is your measure against inflation. So CPI, Consumer Price Index, basically measures how the prices of everyday goods are changing over time. So like your loaf of bread, your milk, stuff like that. It's obviously more to it than that, but as a basic measure, it's basically the price that we pay as consumers for stuff. And if everything's going up in value compared to the amount that we're making, that is your consumer price, essentially. So when that's going up, that's inflation, and that's obviously not good for an economy. The people that are working, supporting their families and everything's going up in price. So CPI and NFP, they're the two major days. Today, it's PMI, which I don't really pay too much respect to PMI. I don't trade throughout it. So like right now, we've just had PMI news at 9:30, and I didn't trade this candle. However, now that it's over, I'm going to start trading, essentially. So that's about as much as you need to know for PMI. All that we've seen is, here it kicked in, and we just had price take out these highs. Ooh, big scary news candle, eh? That's on the 1 minute as well. But no, in all seriousness, the pound I'm expecting to rise in value today. So therefore, when I'm trading on the 1 minute and the 5 minute in these intraday candles, I'm looking for a price increase. Now, we had, if we're looking at the EMA, support there, support there, support there, support there. And then we had this half an hour news gap where price basically swept this liquidity, swept this liquidity, swept that liquidity. Well, it didn't actually sweep that bottom one, but swept these two lows for a little injection of liquidity, and now it's pushing higher like we wanted it to. So that's all good. Let's delete these. If we're considering the Asian session, we had a high print, we had a low print. Didn't actually sweep the low to push higher, it's just pushed higher straight away, which is okay. Whether we can say that that is a break and retest of the Asian session is pretty subjective. But if price now closes above these highs, I wouldn't expect it to come back and use that as support once again, unless it wants to be absolutely wild, essentially. But yeah, we just have to wait to see what happens now, see if we get proper wave structure print. What we want to see from here is essentially a nice formation of just highs getting higher and lows getting lower, like that. That gives us nice wave structure that we can trade, and we'll be looking to ride that to the upside essentially. The 5-minute EMA is still intact. You've got to use the support there throughout that news candle. Euro is a pretty different story because we've not had the Euro news just kick in. We had the Euro PMIs earlier this morning at about 8:15, and then we also had the we had the French PMIs and the German PMIs 8:15 and 8:30. So that was around this region. What we're seeing on the Euro is a bit of volatility. So we've got highs getting higher and we've got lows getting lower like that. So that's the classic megaphone pattern. You know, this looks like a megaphone basically when prices like that, and that is not what we want to see, okay? Because that is volatility. There's no trend there. It's just expanding, and the gradient of increase and the gradient of decrease are both increasing, if that makes sense. The lows are getting lower and the highs are getting higher. So this we don't trade. It's just chaotic essentially. Whereas this, if we do print a structure like this, is a lot more stable, and we can quite accurately predict to buy here and that price will get higher than this high, so we can look to trade from there up to that previous low, something like that essentially. So yeah, that's what we're waiting on right now. At the moment there isn't an opportunity to buy this. We're kind of waiting for that previous triple top to clear and price close above like that, while in the meantime we want to see some form of EMA support. So we have EMA support here on the 5-minute. We also just started an EMA support on the 2-minute. So right now it's a bit too early to tell if we will have a setup or not, but the pound definitely looks like the better option today. We're expecting it to rise in price, and we're just waiting on a plus opportunity for us to be able to buy it with high conviction essentially. So yeah, apart from that there's not too much that I can say, so I'm just going to hop on mute and we'll just wait to see how this plays out. So we'll probably check back on it within half an hour unless anything changes until then. Morning, Joe. Hope you're well. Yeah, weekend was good. Weekend was nice. Just to fill you in on what we're looking at, we are expecting a retracement higher on the pound. We fell out of this channel last week. I'm still expecting a drop, but even so, we left behind a lot of inefficiency in market price. So we've got this order block up here, expecting a rise in the pound. We've just had some news at 9:30, which was mixed, but we've managed to close above this triple top. We're just waiting for a setup to present itself, basically. So it looks like we are going to push higher as expected. We've marked out the session ranges that price would be taking out in doing so, in order to give us an upper boundary above. Is my voice buffering, or is it the display that's buffering? Let me know. I think it's because my VPN's just fucking turned itself on. Quit that. Is that better now? I think it's because my VPN just fucking turned itself on. Let me know. Yeah, cool. It's because my fucking VPN just turned itself on for some reason. Yeah, basically, we're looking for a rise in the pound to fill in some inefficient market conditions that got left behind last week. So we've got a big 4-hour fair value gap and this 4-hour order block that didn't get mitigated. So in order for proper sustainable order flow, kind of need at least one of those to get tapped in and mitigate. So following that idea, we are looking for a rise in the pound today, in today's London session. We had news at 9:30, which was mixed. So I think it was, we basically had two PMI news. One of them was positive, one of them was negative. As a result, we're seeing a rise in the pound higher, as we expected. We're basically just waiting on a clean trading opportunity to trade that higher, essentially. So if we're looking at the EMA, we've got one EMA support there. If we see another one and then another break of structure, then we'll look for a buy on that third low there. That's probably the best idea that we've got lining up right now. So at the moment, just a waiting game. Let the candles print and then we'll come back and touch base in like half an hour, see what happens. Okay, so checking back in 15 minutes later, we can see that the previous highs, where we did have this triple top, broke above, got used as support, and then pushed higher. And now we've got nice wave structure, higher highs and higher lows forming above those previous highs. So we've got what we wanted right now. Next confluence is this purple line. This is our EMA, or our moving average. What we want to see is as this develops higher like this, we're looking for price to find a moment to come back down and retest this, use it as support again to push higher. Now, our other confluence is our fib level, which would usually be from this low to this high, which it might well be, but we kind of need to wait for this price to develop a bit more first, because right now it might just keep pushing higher. This isn't really like guaranteed to be the high right now, so it's still a waiting game to see where this high is going to develop, whether it's here or higher or wherever, and then look for this to come and meet the EMA with a key fib level acting as the next higher low for us to trade higher, basically. So that's what's on my mind right now. The reason I've got price plotted from this low to this high is because if this is the high, the EMA looks quite deep within here. So we might be taking the fib from this low to this high, and then this be the wave. Maybe catch a double bottom from there to trade higher. Maybe even wipe that low out a little bit to sweep the liquidity from beneath there. So having the fib from here provides us a much more safer low to target for, but ultimately right now it's a little bit too soon to even say or to even look to mark up, because you can see right now price is already pushing higher. So just checking back in after 15-20 minutes of when we last spoke, that's what we're looking at right now, the main idea, but let's see how it actually plays out. Okay, so like we said, that high actually just kept on pushing higher. So that's why we didn't mark it up too seriously at that point in time. It looks like we are making nice higher highs and higher lows, and we're following that structure, which is what you want to see for a bull trend. Again, we just want to really wait to see where that next high forms, to see where this will pull back to trade it higher. So let's just keep watching on the sidelines and see where price looks to make a high, so that we can make a more informed decision on where price is making the low. Okay, so right now I'd mark out this low and this high and see if we come back to one of these fib levels. Our session range has been taken out. Note that down. Now what we'd be looking for is this? Obviously not yet. We want to wait to see price come down, give us some candlestick rejections first too, but that's the move that we'd be looking to take. Right, so we have what looks to be a high forming. We've got more session ranges, which are these lines that we're going to look to take out. The low that we're going to look for the fib from is this low to this high. Wait for that to come back into our zone a little bit. We want to see some candlestick rejections from the 61.8 if possible, or the 50, and then we're basically going to look for this to dip into that 71 and push back higher. Again, right now you just wait. You can't force price to come down there, so you just got to wait for it to do it. So sit tight. If we have all of that play out, then we've got a nice 2.6% trade that we're going to look to enter. So 4.4 pip stop. What you can do right now is just measure out your position size using the FX calculators app. But, you know, that might be a complete waste of time. If the high breaks and we keep pushing higher, there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to reanalyze based on the new high. Right, okay, so we broke that next session range. We've got another one up here that we'll look to take out. We can probably get rid of that now. Yeah, we've got nice higher high, higher low structure, which is good. Now we're going to look to take a fib from this low to this high and wait to see if that's going to come back down to our desired zone, which is now going to be this, which is in line with that EMA, which we've had support from here, and wave structure has been obeying as well since then. So we just want to wait to see if price is going to retrace back down to this level, give us some candlestick rejection here, and then push higher just like that. So yeah, sit tight, wait to see if we get it from this one. Right, so we're currently having a retracement back down to our desired zone that is. Now we want to basically wait to see if we get any candlestick rejections. That can be in the form of dojis, spinning tops, pin bars, hammer candles, anything like that to show us that price is rejecting as it approaches these fib levels, as it approaches our EMA. That's a sign that we want to see. So if a candlestick closes like this with a nice wick at the bottom, telling us that it's rejecting price as it's decreasing, that to us signifies that, okay, that's our final confirmation to say that price is looking to reverse and carry on the trend that it is already in, essentially. So we can mark this up. It's a 4.9 pip position. So what I'm going to do right now is basically work out what lot size I need to place on my accounts in order to trade this. But of course we want to wait for a candlestick confirmation first before we actually place a trade, and only then we'll enter. Right, okay, so we there have a hammer candle rejecting as it's approaching the 61.8. We want to see this low get used as liquidity. For me, I'm going to place a limit order on that. Okay. Oh, what the fuck is happening there? Yeah, we've got a hammer candle as we're approaching the zone, so I'm going to place a limit order on this. If price taps the 71% level there, it's going to enter a buy position for me. TP up here, SL beneath this low, just like that. So give me a moment to put my limit orders on, and then I'll put that in the group. So you guys have got it live. Okay, so to be honest, after we've had that hammer candle, it's just been bullish from there. So maybe we don't get tagged in on this limit order. Let's just give it, a couple more candles to see. But if it comes up to like this level, okay, if price comes up to like this level where it's basically matching that left shoulder, I may consider just taking off the position altogether. Okay, this move is for if we're having this higher low, higher high structure like this. So that's kind of how we want to see it play out. So let's give it a couple more minutes and see what happens. Okay, so yeah, it looks like price is going to come back down to our level, potentially, which is nice. So let's send this one out to the group, see if it hits or not. Right, so price looks to be tagging us in right now. I'm going to go ahead and check my position, see if I've been entered or not. Price is now met with that EMA. We've seen the rejection from that EMA in terms of that wick, and prices bounced off the 71%, bounced off the EMA. We just need to see if this is going to keep pushing the trend higher as we expect. But yeah, this should have definitely tagged us in by now. Let me check. Just waiting on spreads there. Yeah, still waiting on spreads on mine to tap me in. Even though I've gave it a two tick grace. Yeah, there we go, we're entered. And we're in. Let's share this one out to the group. Nice entry so far. Right. Yep. Cool. Share this one out. Tagged in. Couple people saying they've not been tagged in. It's likely due to spread. So if that comes back down to the level, just keep your limit strong. I've started adding 2 ticks either side of every quote from the brokers now, just to make sure that I'm being tagged in and tagged out when I should be. Call it the trust issue tax. But yeah, we're at the, let me remove my arrow just to show you price. We're forming nice support from that EMA, so you can see how price is rejecting from that EMA, acting as support. The first candlestick there, you can see it wicked out of it. The second candlestick is a hammer, and this tick candle currently playing out is trying to hammer above it as well, which is a really good sign. We've got 3 wicks, and that one's closed out. We've got 3 wicks on the 2-minute time frame, bouncing off the 71%. This looks to be a pretty good entry so far. We've called it at the exact bottom if everything stays as is. Okay, for all those that didn't get tapped in the first time around, that should definitely tap you in now. Let's just see how that plays out. It's a valid trade, so just got to hold and either let it hit your stop loss or let it hit your take profit from here. So see what happens. So it looks like we're holding a bit of drawdown right now. Nothing to be scared of. We have broke the EMA, which is not good. We broke the 78.6 fib, which is not good. But the trade is valid until this low is broken. Okay, so in theory we could come here and reverse. Either way, even if it hits a stop loss, perfectly fine. It's all priced in, it's all factored in. It's a valid setup. We've got higher highs, higher lows, printing above the EMA. We've got previous EMA support. Don't know whether it's going to come in today though. This might be a stop loss to start the week. But again, that's perfectly fine. Hold till stop loss or hold till take profit. Just let the strategy play itself out, essentially. So we'll see. Yeah, this looks like it's going to wipe out that low and hit stop loss. Shame, not a good way to start the week, but it happens. It's all part of trading. Minus 1%, it's not the end of the world. Let's see. I'm just going to hold it until it hits stop loss. There's no point closing out here, so I'm still in just yet, but it's very, very likely this is just going to stop out at this stage. Well, would you look at that? Looks like we're back to entry. That's a very nice candlestick that we want. Hopefully this forms a tweezer bottom on the 5 minute. Like I said, I always hold until stop loss or TP. So I'm not letting something like that ruin the trade for me. It's not hit my stop loss, I'm still in. I'm not going to get scared and close out now that we're at break even. Stick to the rules, just let it hit stop loss or take profit. Set and forget. Don't get your hopes up too much because, you know, Still quite likely that this just comes back down and hits that stop loss now. But until this low is taken out, I'm holding. So we'll see if that is a revival of the position or whether it's just a double fuck you, essentially. There you go. Stop loss hit for the day. That's Disappointing start to the week, but it is what it is. Not every trade's a winner. And this one is a stop loss. So this low's been broken. So we did have our higher high, higher low structure, but now we don't because this low is broken. So as much as a shame that it is, it's a reason why we use 1% risk per trade, so that we can comfortably lose 1% and not lose any sleep. Absolutely fine. I guess we'll see if there's anything else happening in the markets for the day. I don't think so. At about 11:30, now that we've got a lower low that's just broken, it's very unlikely that we'll have any more trades for the day, to be honest. In the London session, that is anyway, using our intraday strategy. Day trades, we're still on the cards, so we'll keep looking out for day trades inside the VIP group. I don't know if we really want to be, we don't really want to be looking for shorts on the 2 minute, considering price is still above the EMA on the 5 minute. That's not really what we want there. We would only really be looking for longs, and we've now broken those lows, which is not ideal. We don't want to trade off that because this high hasn't broken this high. So I think that's probably us done for the day. Yeah, we've only got one EMA support there, so we can't really justify that. This is the first high that's formed after that support. So yeah, I think that's it for the day. Just minus 1% from that one stop loss. We go again in the London session tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Bit of an unfortunate day. Obviously, stop losses happen. It's important that we use a low risk per trade so that we can comfortably trade throughout them. But I'll see you guys for another live session on Wednesday. So take care.